Hi, welcome everyone to our Cafecito Cultural. Hello everyone and welcome to our Culture and Diversity Conversational panel of this professional learning community group. I'm Rosabel, founder of this wonderful group of ed professionals that work together to bring culture and value diversity to our classes. Today, we are pleased to have with us our friend Michelle De Leon. Michelle, how are you today?
I'm really, really happy to be here. Very excited.
Oh, thank you. Well, we are very, very honored to have you here. Michelle De Leon is the founder and CEO of World Afroday, a global day of change, education, and celebration of Afro hair and identity. The day was established on September 15, 2017, and is endorsed by the UN Office of the High Commissioner of Human Rights. Overcoming past struggles with her own hair and societal bias, she was determined that she wanted a better life for her daughter and people around the world. A dream was ignited and is now an award-winning nonprofit and global awareness day celebrated by millions of people across 6 continents. Wow, Michelle, thank you so much for being here again. And we're going to be talking about Afro hair equality and inclusion. Why do we need World Afro Day? Michelle, you are the founder of this World Afro Day. What is this and when is it?
Okay, so it's an annual day. We celebrate online. Sometimes we have an event that we live stream also across the world. And it's a celebration, really, because our Afro hair has a long history of discrimination, negative treatment. We don't feel positively about our hair. Lots of us don't feel great about our own hair. Plus, we experience discrimination in society. So it really was an opportunity to turn around centuries of negativity, start fresh, and start going forward with a positive celebration.
Correct. Good. And why and how do you start these Global Awareness Days?
I started it really inspired by my own daughter because I was really determined when I knew I was having a girl that I really wanted her to feel good about her hair. And she did feel good about her hair. She was celebrating her hair. She was singing in the bathroom one day, saying she's a princess. She thanks God for her Afro hair. And I thought this was amazing. I'd never thought, I think she was about 8. Um, and I couldn't believe how wonderful she felt about her hair. And I thought this was great. But my second thought was for the millions of other children around the world who I knew didn't feel good about their hair. I didn't want her to be the only one. I wanted it to become normal to feel great about her hair, about all children to feel good about their hair. And it didn't just stop at children. I'm a Black woman, and I know that so many Black women felt really negative about their hair, and people would exchange all the negative struggles, all the negative words, and they weren't embracing their hair. And I just thought, well, why can't we bring together positivity? Why can't we start talking about the positive things? Why can't we feel good, celebrate, and just come together on one day? So I thought, excuse me, if we have a focus day, then we can actually start to turn around the historical past.
Yes, and it's correct when you say, and I like the fact that you raising your daughter to be proud of her hair, to be proud of herself, which is so much needed today. And not today, it's been needed for a while, that we just embrace our race and embrace our hair and everything that we are. That is so much important, especially for us educators that are working with these students that they probably do not have this type of treatment at home, and they thinking that having an afro wearing your own hair is wrong.
Mm.
But at least I can talk for myself. That's what I thought, that it was wrong to have this hair, that it's better just to do the most relaxer you can so you can fit into what they call the society call acceptable.
Mhm.
So thank you so much for doing this with your daughter and also with this with the
Excuse me.
kids around the world. So what progress has been made through the World Afro Day?
I would say that it's been real incremental progress because when I first started, I knew that mainstream society didn't even know this problem existed. And because I've used some of my media influence, I've been able to help bring this into the mainstream agenda. It's regularly in the news, regularly in newspapers, mainstream magazines. The Afro hair sort of fight for equality is always in the news now. And I know that before World Afro Day, that wasn't the case.
Correct. That is correct. And I would just want to remember to our members that are here today, if anytime you have any questions and would like to participate, you're welcome. Just unmute your microphone, okay? I want to ask you also.
Just one other point. In terms of what difference has it made, I was invited to the United Nations in Geneva, and I actually gave a speech about our hair. And I really much felt the sense of occasion that this is the most important international organization. They talk about human rights, they talk about war and struggle and conflict and those sorts of things. But I knew that I don't think Afro hair was even being brought up as a subject. It wasn't even brought up as a right, that it wasn't even being brought up as something that needed to change. So I felt that that was a real milestone to be able to go to the United Nations and say that this does need to change.
Yes, and it does need to change, and it's the time for also for us to get together. And your project, the not the project, but the World Afro Day that you have is so significant that when I saw that, it called my attention. I said I need to contact her because I didn't I didn't hear that here in Hawaii. I don't watch news too much or TVs or so, but I didn't have the knowledge. So if I didn't have, and I am a teacher, I need to study, I need to learn more. And that's why I contact you, because this is an amazing opportunity for everyone to know that it exists, that why not to participate, why not to be part of this, right? So the progress that you have made has been amazing as well, but what do you want to do this year in 2022?
2022 is a really significant year for us because we're bringing out new research about teachers,
Mhm.
because schools has been shown in lots of different research that school is the key place that children feel inferior, insecure, have problems with their identity and their hair. People might think it's social media, you might think it's mainstream media, but actually it's school. School is the key place that has an influence on their identity and how they feel about themselves. So I really wanted to tackle school. So we've done some research with a research organisation, and it's looking at how teachers view Afro hair and how they apply the rules to Afro hair, because these kinds of incidents are happening all over the world. So we're going to be doing talking about that report in March. That's a key thing. And also we're bringing out a charity song this year. So that's another way that we're going to be able to celebrate our hair in a way that's never been celebrated before, because it's not just going to be a one-off single. It's really going to be an anthem for the diaspora. So it's every year we're going to be able to have this pride about singing a celebration song about our hair.
Yeah, an important thing that is, we should not be just celebrating this specifically February or so. It should be every single day, every day of the year. So bring it over days like this. It's help us more to continue with this, not just celebration, but acceptance, for the
Yes.
students to be accepting themselves. Awesome, awesome. So in 2022, this year, you will have new research, a new charity, and a new song. Which one do you think will have the most impact for this year?
Okay, so I forgot to mention the charity. Yeah, the aim is this year to also to launch a charity, because I've been doing this for 5 years now, and there's two distinct audiences, and that is Black people with Afro hair who've experienced all the negative and discrimination around their hair, and then you have the people who don't have Afro hair, who don't actually understand or know what the problem is. And we need to be able to talk to them. And that's where the charity is going to be able to do some key work about educating and raising awareness in the wider community who don't understand what this problem is. So I would like to think potentially the song will have the most impact, because I think issues around racial equality, conflict, race, discrimination, they're all quite heavy subjects, and they're historical subjects. And there's a lot of depth to trying to understand those subjects. But music can reach people in different ways, and it will allow people to access this subject on a different level. You could just play that song to a work colleague over a coffee and have a conversation about it. You can play that to children in nursery. You can have teenagers can listen to it together. It's going to have different applications. So I think in some ways it's out of the box. There's no limit to what it could do.
So, okay, anybody at this moment would like to ask Michelle anything? Okay, otherwise, I have another question for you, and is, what do you think ending Afro-hair discrimination is a subject for everyone?
Because everyone's involved. That's the truth. It's just a factual situation that everyone is involved in Afro hair discrimination. And a lot of it's about ignorance, actually. People, how we feel about our hair and the significance of our hair is completely different to every other group on the planet. What we've been through with our hair is so different to everybody else. So they need to understand the impact it has on us in order for them to help change it. If they don't understand it, how can they do anything? How can they be a part of change? So we need everybody to understand so that we can work on this change together.
Exactly, and also for in all areas. It affects us, but affects out there in all areas. And what I mean is, like, for looking for jobs, look at in schools, be accepted in the group for students, right? And then for the students to be proud of it, but also this is like a little bit educating the community.
Mhm.
We're going to educate the students, right? And they're going to be ready. But when they go out there in the world, when they go to their community, when they're applying for a job, and sometimes they just be discriminated because they wear their hair look like, or they
Mm.
thinking that you didn't brush your hair. No, this is my hair like that. Or you didn't that you relaxer. No, no, this is my hair and I'm proud of how to be. Don't ask
Yeah.
me because, and the reason why I say, because years ago, my couple of years ago, my students for the Hispanic Honor Society created a documentary about being Black in Latin America.
Mm.
No, it was not the title, but it was the conversation about it. And someone from Dominican Republic said, it was a college student, said that she was not accepted in her class because her professor want her to do something with the hair. And she was almost failing the class because she want to go with her afro, but he wants her to do a ponytail or do something else because
Yeah.
there was not acceptance. And I was impacted by her testimony, and
Yeah.
it was something that unacceptable. So
It's everywhere, because I had a student contact me from Nigeria who had dreadlocks, and the professor says, if you don't cut off those dreadlocks, I'm going to fail you. And she had to do it. And it's so sad that this is happening in every country around the world. I don't know a country on the planet that does not discriminate against Afro hair.
mm, that is correct. That is true. That is true. And then what it is important for teachers to be part of this change? What do you think is important?
Our teachers, it's so essential for teachers to be a part of this, because at that earliest age, it's the one profession where they are allowed to judge people on their appearance. They're not only just permitted to judge people on their appearance, they're permitted to write policies about people's appearance. They're permitted to create punishment around appearance. So it's critical that teachers know how to apply their power justly.
That's true. That's true. It is important that all teachers being able to integrate this portion in their classes, language classes, not only language classes, all classes, because yes, this is about professional learning community for world language educators, but right now we got all teachers here in our group. So it is important for them to know that it's not just the culture of what you wear in yourself, but it's also hair related, because they have a history behind as well in there. But that's another POC, another episode that we're going to talk about. But because this gets so inspired, it's like, this is the time. It is the time. And teachers, we need to support this as well. And we need to be part of it. Either you are African descendant or not.
Yes.
Because that's when you stop the discrimination, the word or not. If you are not, welcome, do it. Go ahead, Richard.
Yes, thank you for being here. And my question is, I'm a language teacher, so I teach Spanish and French. But in Spanish, oftentimes the phrasing comes up about good hair, bad hair, and it's embedded in the language. And many of us who use Spanish are not really aware of its implications in the language. How do we work towards eliminating this, extricating it out of language permanently?
Gosh, I don't even see. That's new to me to say. I mean, it's in the Spanish. So, could you give us an example for those of us who don't know? How does the language use it?
So you say, pelo malo, pelo bueno. It's the good hair, bad hair, and people use it. Spanish speakers use it without even thinking of its implications, and it's so mainstream, streamlined, mainstream in the language, and without awareness even.
It has to be challenged at every point. I mean, it used to be like that in English. I mean, in America, in the Caribbean. I can't speak about Africa, but good hair, bad hair used to be common, a common way of describing hair, and now it's considered totally unacceptable to do that. You're considered. It shows now if you use that, it's seen as you're a bit unintelligent, or you lack consciousness if you was to use that, because people will be looking at you like, people will challenge you if you say something like good hair now, because people believe that it's not acceptable to say it.
It was too much damage. It was too much damage done with those two words, because I grew up always thinking that I was having a bad hair. And that's why I cannot, let me explain this better. I do not recall ever to see my own hair until as an adult, I stopped and I said, you know what? That's it. No more relaxer. Let me just met my hair, because I don't remember ever. I got pictures of me at 5 years old and having relaxer. So it was that bad that my hair can show. What was wrong with me? And if you start putting that into kids by the early age, they grown up thinking that is something wrong with them. Is something wrong with their hair. Is something wrong with their skin color. Is something wrong with everything. And like that, you grow. So I'm so glad that we're doing this, because it is time to stop. It should never be used again. It's not such a thing as bad hair or good hair.
Yeah. Although, I would say that the perception of good hair and bad hair has not disappeared at all. But the language has. So it's not acceptable to say that you have good hair and bad hair, but we as a people still desire long hair. We still desire looser curls. We still desire mixed type hair. So it's not acceptable to say it, but we know that those, what do you call this? It's a bondage. I say that's bondage, to say that your mind, as women, we still feel that to look our most beautiful, we've got to have this long flowing hair. And men as well. I mean, they're doing it for the men. So it's not just the women who are doing it. They still you know, they feel that men think that women look more beautiful with long flowing hair as well. So it's a cycle that we have to break as a people, because naturally we should be embracing the fact that we have hair that grows like a crown. You know, we actually have hair that looks like a crown. We can style it like a crown. We can do it in these amazing styles that just look like a crown, but we don't actually embrace that as a people. We're looking for hair that to drop and blow in the wind, when actually we have this hair that can make crowns on our heads. So, you know, it's a perception, this historical oppression that has to leave our minds on a very deep level.
Wow. How I want to ask Richard, because Michelle is from UK. Richard, you grown up in not in United States, right? Or yes?
That's correct.
Okay, and I
I,
grew up in Panama. How was for you the experience about listening to something like that when you was growing? Good hair, bad hair, or how was?
growing up, I wasn't in my particular country. I was born and raised in Aruba. I wasn't quite aware of racial differences in terms of skin color, because in my country, even though Black people are a minority in terms of numbers in my country, I did not understand nor experience that. Everyone around me, most people were non-Black, but we felt as one people, Arubans. What I did grow up hearing, though, was this idea of good hair, bad hair, particularly in Spanish, because Aruba is right off the coast of South America, very close to Venezuela and Colombia. And so the majority of children in my neighborhood were of Spanish speaking countries, Dominican Republic, Colombia, Venezuela, and Peru also. And I constantly was exposed to the idea of people having good hair versus bad hair, and being exposed to that my entire life, actually. I've heard that. And as an adult, once I became a teacher of the Spanish language, I've continued to hear this. Even to this day, people in conversation saying, hey, you know, you have good hair. You are so lucky that you have good hair. And mostly the ones who say that are the ones of lighter complexion who have, you know, straight hair, relaxed hair. And so I still hear that, and I challenge it whenever I do get the opportunity to do so. I challenge it because it's something that needs to be eradicated from the language. And as you were mentioning, it is no longer acceptable in English to say those things, even though people think it, you know.
Yeah.
But in Spanish, I don't think we are there yet. We haven't gotten to that point yet, because it is still used, as I've mentioned before, it's used without the awareness or consciousness of the damage it is doing to people, you know, in particular those who have Afro hair.
Yeah. So it means then, I mean, from what you're both saying to me, is that the Spanish speaking countries are really going to need World Afro Day to help on this journey of self love, of embracing the hair that we have.
Yes, and that's why when I saw your Afroday, I'm saying, oh wait, this need to be brought over here, because it's happening over there in UK. Why not to the rest of the world? And especially, like Richard say, in Hispanic speaking countries, or among Hispanics here in United States, because they coming from their country with that idea, and they coming over here to look for a better living and all that. But there are some stuff that they also need to know or learn, right? So I just want to let you know that we here in Hawaii, my students, my two clubs, my Hispanic Honor Society and the Multicultural Club, are 100% supporting Afroday and all of the plans that you have for the future, especially in this year. But I want to ask you is what can people do to support your movement? Because we're ready.
Well, we're so happy to have you. I mean, it really is World Afro Day. It's not UK Afro Day. It's not National Afro Day. It really is. It's a language that we all share, is it not? Our hair experience is, I would say, even more universal than our skin experience, because every country is different things that you go through with your skin and different levels. But the hair experience seems to be so consistent in every country. The struggles seems to be really universal. So we have social media, so World Afro Day Instagram, World Afro Day on Twitter, World Afro Day on Facebook, and we have our website, www.worldafroday.com. So if you put in World Afro Day in Google, you will definitely find us. And, you know, I really sign up to our newsletter, because then you're going to get the depth of what our plans are. You'll be able to get more involved in our plans. So I think all of those things will really help you to support us. But especially the song this year, if if you play that song on your radio stations, in your schools, just everywhere, they're going to start to think, what's that about? What's that day? What's that song about? I've never heard a song about me, my hair, loving my hair. It's going to be like this, oh, why? What's this? So yeah.
It's gonna be the next number one
Yeah,
worldwide.
that's our plan. Make it number one.
When is gonna be ready, if you already have an idea?
Yeah, a week before World Afro Day, so early September.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. I'm so ready for that. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Are you ready?
Who?
I'm asking Richard.
Yes, yes. And we cannot hear you, Richard. Unmute.
Yes, I am ready.
Good. Like, I want to hear that. I know Richard is the biggest supporter of PLC and Cafecito Cultural, and I know we're going to be there waiting. So please share all the information at any time in the group, please. And also, I'm going to put on the down the video in YouTube, and this video in YouTube and in the PLC with the links for your social media as well, so the educators can also go ahead and follow you. And I know Simon want to say something before we leave. Hi,
Well, I
Simon.
just want to say thank you. So I just want to say thank you to Michelle, because the way that she's expressed her ideas and expressed the vision and expressed the mission with such clarity, because obviously we've all experienced this, we've all grown up with this, we're all aware of the problems that our hair has, well, what we've experienced. And it's quite fascinating to see all these developments, such good developments, and the ideas and the progress that's being made. Yeah, especially as Richard mentioned, the good hair, bad hair. You know, we're all familiar with that, and how important it is not just to educate the wider community, but also educate ourselves, because unfortunately, as we're aware, we're sometimes our own worst enemy. And no, I just want to say thank you to Michelle for putting the idea out there, and obviously Rosa, for you providing this platform, because it really was quite informative and on so many different levels.
You're welcome. And thank you, Simon, for your kind words. Of course, I'm very proud of this is going on, and that our Cafecito have the opportunity to share this information worldwide, and so that everyone can hear our voices and get together and unify this. And it's started with education, right? Where all the students are absorbing knowledge on a daily basis. So it's our mission to continue with embrace our culture, embrace our ethnicity, and let the world know that we here, we exist, we got voice, and we are humans that deserve the best as anyone. I don't want to close before thank you everyone for being here in our Cafecito Cultural, and we're looking forward next week with Simon Henson, who is going to be with us also from UK, and we're going to be talking about your book name. Your book is going to be about history through the Black experience. So this is something that is extending the whole month. We're extending. I want to talk about this every day, just not the month of February, but we will bring more people over. So anyone in UK who you think, Michelle or Simon, they would like to come to our cafecito, welcome. Just share the link with them. And then we welcome everyone to talk about any subject about culture and diversity, and why not? Afro or Afroday. Well, thank you so much. I don't want to leave before go ahead and take a picture of all of us. So ready for the nice picture. Here go 1, 2, 3, smile.